the level that we're probably going to see at the level we saw at Worlds last year was really, really good. But do you think these grassroots tournaments are really going to step up the level of competition that we're going to see next year? I mean, in the next month?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll start this one. I think that already it has. I think genuinely it already has by like a lot, right? Like this
Mm,
is there's a reason I think why, I want to say for one of the first seasons, even though it didn't always play out that way at all, I think that a lot of like the big Western scenes are not favored at all in this when
mm.
people are looking at the brackets, and a lot of it is because there's a lot of grassroots for a lot of regions.
Yeah, absolutely. Keela, yourself?
Uh, yeah. I'm always a fan. So I think yeah, we are definitely seeing them rise. I'm actually curious. I know, Japan seems to be one of the favorites. Zeta Division. They're the ones that actually ended up. Wait, I'm confused. I'm looking at the wrong bracket. Oh my gosh.
They're out.
They actually ended up getting knocked out previous round by Zoro Tigers Gaming.
Mm.
So that's an interesting result on there. However, Chef, I think you might be a
Yes.
little bit upset with this one because we have ourselves a Cramorant ban along with a Pikachu.
Despite the fact that I love those Pokemon, I am more interested on this Mr. Mime ban that we're seeing. Of course, three defenders chosen off the bat, all these Pokemon being picked basically ASAP anytime that they're available at the current moment. But Mr. Mime ban, Lobo, why is there Mime ban? Tell me.
Oh,
Despite
look,
analysis.
you're putting me on the spot, chef. Look, Mr. Mime, again, power swap, such a good maneuver, such a good move set that we like to see. Again, I'm thinking that's probably coming up from, again, such a disruptive ability with those walls, probably power swap, giving a lot more sustain coming
Oh,
through.
I
For we'll
don't
get to that we'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, look, Mr. Mime's such a good utility mon to just stop and do disruption. Also, it has the ability to output some great damage. But we are seeing a Greedent on the field. I absolutely love this. If this is not an invade Greedent, I'm gonna be very, very upset. But again, what we have. I thought we weren't gonna get the 5 defenders comp, guys, but this looks like it's happening. It's happening. And I was very, very lucky to be able to witness this game. I do believe we're going to be seeing a central area Gudra come through from this one. I could be wrong. That is what they played last time they played this game. The Dragonite and the Garchomp make a lot of sense here, as well as the Glaceon. Perhaps ONIC Rise did predict this, so they have just gone full damage into this build. So I'm really excited to see how MYS handle that. But guys, what do you make of this?
I'm so excited. That's it. Look, we have some Ghatlue representation here with the Greedent. Obviously, we are on his channel. We saw this in one of the earlier Unity clashes as well. So it's 5 defender meta. We were talking. This is really risky. This is the winners final. Winner gets to go to grand finals. But you know what? First game. There's some leverage here, Chef. So why not have some fun and put on a great dang show?
It's certainly going to be interesting one way or another. Some interesting things to note just about these comp, just the items that were brought out. The Gudra is going to be a little bit more of a brawler. The Blastoise did have the scarf and the I almost said the Ghatlue. That's how much that's how much Greedent is the Ghatlue character. The Greedent had double stacking, which is pretty interesting.
This is going to be an absolutely interesting game. Look, they're giving me going to be a hard job on analysis after this one. Guys, enjoy this one. I guarantee you it's going to be an absolute banger. Have a good one, guys.
You called it right. Sending the Gumi into that central area, making sure to get their levels ASAP. But you mentioned, we do have this Squove vet here who is double stacking. I'm actually very surprised that they're actually not going in for the invade. ONIC Rise definitely being aware of that potential, making sure to send 3 members to get those buffs ASAP.
Yeah, and the invasion is happening just a little bit late. You can see the little Piloswine. Am I right? Piloswine? I always forget the first two evolutions that mixed up. But,
Swinub!
Swinub. It's a Swinub, then Piloswine, then Mamoswine. There we go. Thank you. The Swinub in there is not going to be able to find any really true targets. And the invasion, surprisingly, from that Swinub rather than the Greedent. I keep wanting to call it Ghatlue. Why is it both G names? But it's, at the moment, just stacking. And like I said, double stacking. You got to get those points in.
Yeah, you got to get the attack weight. You've also got to get the Eos cookie. That way you do have a much larger HP pool to take on the hits. But I mean, you know, 5 defenders, they're going to be able to take a lot of hits and likely to eat these icicle shards coming from this Glaceon, who is going to lock down on those Slavas and Altaria. But we have Gibble getting taken on down amongst collateral damage amongst the bird.
Oh my goodness, this soloing targeting out that Clefable and just getting so quickly taken down. It's impressive how much damage a full team of defenders can actually do. And I mean, we gotta honestly take this in like a serious comp because it is playing pretty serious. The Gudra probably the biggest question mark out of all of the picks. Right now it's just trying to get away, and it is gonna get away pretty scot-free as we're gonna see the ingredient come back in, and we're gonna see at least one pick in that central area. No, they're gonna get the KO the other direction, this time on the actual pillar.
Yeah, I guess Slow Bro is like, you know what? I know you're a team of defenders. I'm going to do as much as I can for my team representing the only sole defender on their side. But yeah, I guess because Team MYS, knowing that they can take a lot of hits, they are just playing really aggressive here. Greedent just being an absolute nuisance. Using their tackle back and forth, but also just replenishing their HP pool via these berries. They're able to spawn on up, and what? No, Clefable almost stopped them. They did end up stopping him from getting that other berry. Just a hungry beast.
What a juke! That was a beautiful little moment. They easily could have been KO'd right there, but so hard to catch a good Greedent player. And I mean, the big thing, of course, is that we do know for sure there's going to be a really heavy scaling component to ONIC Rise's game plan. However, the aggression from Team MYS has meant that they have just not gotten a lot of mileage at all. Their highest level Pokemon just hit 7, and already there's an 8, and everybody across the board is 7 on Team MYS. So MYS in absolute full control. They haven't been able to get as many points in as I thought maybe they would, and as I say that, immediately the tier 1 goes down, and they're up by 107 points. Yeah.
Yeah, and Blastoise and Gudra are going to go and take care of that Regieleki, while ONIC Rise are going to prioritize this Registeel. Even though we have that Greedent and that Piloswine down there, they're more focused on getting in the Eos energy as much as possible. We do have that Regieleki heading towards T2 base, but 4 members of ONIC Rise have decided to go and dunk in some points, leaving each on 6 points currently, as Greedent is taking on a 1v4. As much as Greedent is tanky, they're not going to be able to sustain that one, Chef.
Yeah, but you know what? They are just pulling off their let's be annoying strategy. That Greedent, though, is really being set up to, I think, do a good amount of damage. Of course, like I said, picking up that attack weight means that they are not going to be a Pokemon that is going to be passive, I think, is the best way to put it. They are a little bit low level, though, for the fact that they are one of the kind of handling Pokemon on the team. I mean, not really, but they are looking to be damaged late in the game. They're going to go down again, which is going to leave them even further behind.
I mean, one thing I have my eye on is this Gudra that is already at a level 10 has opted for that Power Whip maneuver as well, just trying to get those isolations. However, Mamoswine has been taken down. ONIC Rise are looking potentially to push this forward, as they did end up setting their Glacial Stage. But no, it looks like they're going to back on up, even though MYS don't actually have their jump pads available. They're going to pivot on towards the top path instead.
Ooh, just getting pushed back, and look at this. Even a defender against all these defenders is having a tough time. That berry's going to be nice, but still not going to be able to survive that long. I really, truly cannot believe how much damage this full defender comp is doing, but we are starting to hit finally these really true power spikes, although right now the berries are stronger than spikes, as this Greedent is just running amok. But now the Garchomp and the Dragonite are both starting to get up to full power, and honestly, one of the biggest things that we have to worry about, I think, if you're Team MYS, is the fact that ONIC Rise can actually just not engage in fights and just burn down objectives and secure it with Hyper Beam. Assuming it's Hyper Beam. I actually haven't seen it.
No, it's actually actually outraged Dragonite. So I guess more just looking to pump out a little bit more damage, but Hydro typing does end up coming out from that Blastoise, and now they're going to follow up with that spin, looking to try and get some KOs, as Garchomp is also on a rampage as well. No members down just yet, as Greedent has also decided to pop their Unite move. So the highest level on the field, the Goodra, has been eliminated, along with that Glaceon too.
This is their strategy, and it's working out so well. You just stick together around that Clefable, and you've got the AoE damage from the Outrage Dragonite, you've got the AoE damage from the Garchomp, where they're really just allowing the attack to steal right there. It's not going to happen, though, and that is just a huge... I mean, you know, we use the Death Ball sometimes for comps like this, but this is quite literally just like you walk forward and AoE damage just gets emitted from your forwards, and that's what they're trying to do right now. They're getting split up a little bit. I think the pushing and, like, I guess pulling of the team MYS is going to really matter a lot, but even still, they haven't been able to get the KOs. They're still standing on that Clefable. They are going to pick up the KO on 2 of the defenders of the 5, and they might be able to push in this Regieleki. It looks like they will.
Yeah, that was actually some interesting plays. You could see Mamoswine focusing all of their efforts onto the Regieleki, using that Ice Fang to push it on back. Garchomp did end up taking them for a bit of a trip. Glaceon able to finish it up, send it back to the Pokemon Center. The thing is, because of that fight, ONIC Rise have now caught up in levels. They've also caught up in points. That's 198 to 245. But we now have 3 level 12s on their side, and the highest level on Team MYS is level 11. Much more evenly spread, though, and a Regirock for the defender team. This is what they would ask for, as Goodra is the one to seal the deal, just to give them a little bit more bulk, as if they didn't even have enough.
Yeah, and this is going to be lasting for a good amount of time. We are going to see the Goodra get KO'd. We'll be losing that, but it will be coming back. It's plenty of time to set up for the final stretch. We've got just about a 50-point lead, 47-point lead from the side of Team MYS. They've got, obviously, the bulk to be able to defend for probably another 10 minutes after this game ends. It could extend that far, but... honestly, that one big team fight that we saw from ONIC Rise was really good. Oh, you got to be careful not to get picked on either side here. That was a very strange charge, and this fight's actually going to start right off the bat. The Ice Fang's going to come in, but not a really good way to throw them towards the team. Looks like we're going to have to see the Mamoswine pump that Unite to try and get at least a shield and survive. Unite can have a jump as well, but nobody's going down. This is just too tanky.
Oh my gosh, the slow beam onto that member, the Blastoise. They were able to sustain all of that. However, Blastoise still has their Unite move on hand, as Glaceon has been able to lock down the Goodra. Mamoswine has also been taken down, as some more Unite moves are going to be popped on out. Blastoise, Umbreon, and Greedent are running for their lives, as ONIC Rise are now going to take the opportunity to try and shred down this Rayquaza, because they have the Outraged Dragonite plus the Garchomp and Glaceon combo. Well, with Glaceon's not there, but wait a minute, shields have been broken.
Some shields have been broken. We're still going to see a ton of points in, though. Of course, that's still coming from the Blastoise to secure, and that's going to be another Hundo Burger in. We're going to see the huge majority of the team, though, running down on bottom to try and score, but they've got to fight through so much bulk to be able to make this happen.
I actually don't even know who on Team MYS ended up getting the last hit on the Rayquaza. That is absolutely wild. They're going to jump on that pad just like trampolines, one after the other, as we have Clefable, their healer, getting taken on down. Garchomp and Dragonite as well, as, oh my gosh, the Slowbro! They're trying to make them join their team. You are a defender. Come be with us. No, never mind. I'm sending you back to the Pokemon Center.
Oh my gosh, they've done it. Team MYS, you know, we got the question before. Do you think that MYS is going to go for the 5 defender comp again? And not only have they done it, but at the end of this hard-fought tournament, they have a nice little berry dance right there. But they have solidly won their first game with the 5 defender comp, taking their Rayquaza in the final fight, having a lead of almost 500 points, to be honest. Quite close at this point, and they are going to take game 1 of Winners Finals.
Oh my god, that was such a fun match to watch. Um, Absolutely wild things happened during that match. I think this is going to be a difficult one for Lobo to break down for sure.
I think it's a difficult one for any of us to break down. There were a lot of interesting decisions, but honestly, that 5 defender comp looks so practiced, looks so strong. I cannot believe how well it went. I would love to see the damage, which obviously we're about to see right here, but there's got to be so much healing from Zoe on ONIC Rise. 155,000. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of healing. That is crazy. But 100k damage from the Blastoise, who also, may I note, of course, secured Rayquaza.
Ah, they're the ones that secured the
Yes,
Rayquaza.
yes.
I think this Rapid Spin was actually a really good choice here from Yamu. Obviously, they are 5 defenders, so going for more that damage build to get into the back line as well. Even though they were actually running Resonant Guard, Muscle Band, and Focus Band, and then they ended up changing. That's a screenshot that I have. But these stats are absolutely wild. You know what, Chef? I mean, it's probably already been dubbed before, but we're gonna dub it again. The MYS specialty.
All
5 defenders.
I like it. The MYS special that they've definitely coined it. They're using it in one of the most difficult tournaments that I've ever seen. The competition in this tournament is absolutely ridiculous, and like I said, they solidly won, so they get to own that for sure. That's the MYS comp, and I will wonder if they're gonna do it again because honestly, ONIC Rise just did not have the answer for it. I love their idea, the idea of just like literally sending everybody around Clefable and just running with
Mm.
it and doing as much damage as possible. But I'm not sure, and I'm curious what you think about the Dragonite, the Outrage Dragonite.
I think the reason why they ended up going Outrage Dragonite is, Outrage probably has a little bit more success as shredding through the bulk of defenders. But I'd say Onic probably, Glaceon, Garchomp, Outrage Dragonite were more hoping to just take the objectives, shred the objectives rather than fight. That's the thing. We saw the fights actually being drawn out for so long by MYS. So it's more of, okay, Slowbro, Clefable, go deal with that while we try and shred down the objectives. Obviously, it didn't end up falling down in their favor as Yamu ended up securing the Rayquaza, and that would have been Onic Rise's chance. So I don't know. Like, how do you even face back into 5 defenders like that? Is there really an answer to it?
Uh, I mean, I don't know what obviously you need to really test and do a lot of team comp thinking, but if I had to guess, I think one thing that I would have liked to see is I do think that they certainly had the burn power to take down objectives, and I was mentioning this right before we realized
Mm,
it was Outrage Dragonite, but I think that they really could have used a strong secure on their team. Obviously, this is like a
mm,
hindsight 2020 thing where it's like, well, there was a flip, but I do think that that's one big thing about a 5 defender comp is that they're not going to have the best secure in the world. They're not going to have the strongest like actual objective burn in the world, and if their overall damage was obviously quite high, but you can somewhat ignore them at least a little bit longer than you would a normal comp. So I do think that like if we saw the Hyper Beam Dragonite, or maybe if we saw, I actually forget. I think Blaziken maybe was banned, but something that has
no,
really strong
it
secure.
wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Wow. I think Blaziken would have been a great option here. Would have done a lot of the similar ideas, plus having that secure. So something along those lines obviously would be quite strong.
Mm,
And if they really want to go for the AoE damage, I think maybe something like Tyranitar could have been a little bit stronger, maybe just because of obviously it's going to shred
mm.
in a big AoE. So Outrage Dragonite, curious to me, don't have the answer, but we'll see what they do this time if we end up seeing the same comp, the same MYS comp.
I don't know. Can they do this comp twice? That's really the question.
Why
But
not?
yeah, just to clarify, the bands that we actually had last round were Mr. Mime
Right.
and Leafeon on the side of Onic Rise, and we had the Cramorant and the Pikachu. So the fact that we had Blaziken out of jail, we had Mimikyu out of jail as well. And they didn't actually end up picking up these. I mean, MYS, I feel like as soon as they probably saw the Mr. Mime ban, I actually ended up having a look through my notes when we asked the questions. Rebongs actually played it a few times yesterday, and they they lost some. They ended up losing a match that was up against Yorizera. So that could potentially be why they've done it. They also ended up playing it into Elevate themselves, and they won that match. So that's probably the Mr. Mime ban that ONIC are going to stick with this time round, as MYS are going to go in with the Clefable and the Pikachu ban.
Yeah, I think if I was here, I'd probably ban Umbreon, to be 100% honest. I think the Umbreon is a huge key factor to what that comp is. Looks like we're going to ban Leafeon, which still not sure if that's really what your problem is at the moment, but it's really hard to tell when they have the ability to either go a normal comp or that defender comp. And so it's time to see what MYS is going to start with. I think as well, Umbreon would be a solid first pick right here. There are a lot of great defenders, but Umbreon really just gives you the ability to say, well, we could do this. We could go like 5 different directions, and that is what they will choose.
Yeah, so even if they don't decide to go with the 5 defender comp here, it's just setting it up. In case they decide to, Zoe is going to lock down Eldegoss or Luna on the Slowbro as well. Are they actually going to go in for it twice? I mean, Yamu is thinking about it, and we're on the edge of our seats here, biting our fingers. Is it gonna? They're gonna bring out the Lapras? No, it's Gudra. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we are looking similar here, and again, this Umbreon really enables a lot of it. I would have loved to see the Umbreon ban, but we are on the other side now going to see what they're going to choose instead. It looks like we could, we're going to see the Blaziken. I think it's a much more solid choice, just as far as being able to do a lot of things for the team. Oh, I like this, potentially. The steal?
Dev,
Yeah!
yes, yeah, this is a really good play by Dev to take away their Blastoise. I mean, Yamu was the top damage defender on Team MYS. That is really what's going to make the difference here. If you think about other Pokemon defenders that can do as much damage as Blastoise, I don't know if there is one, but I guess there's still defenders left to go for. Snorlax, Trevenant, Trevenant, and Mamoswine. So we saw it once. We get to see it again. Mind you, there's just that one switch up with Trevenant, and I think Trevenant can actually do a fair bit of damage, especially if it's the curse build too, Chef.
Yeah, interesting. I'm curious if they're locking in with this direction. They've currently no. Okay, we are going to see it switched. Okay, yeah, that would have been really strange. But we had EXP share on Trevenant for that last pick. They were switching on players. Looks like we're going to be going with more offensive Trevenant and more offensive Gudra once again, and then again the double stacking. I want to say like the ranged attacker Greedent for some reason. But I actually, again, I really want to talk about the Blastoise pick. I think not only is it obviously just a good Pokemon, and then B, it steals it away from Team MYS, but C, it's also going to be really strong, I think, into the double, or into the, I was about to say double defender, into the 5 defender comp, because you're just going to be able to do so much just raw damage to everybody, and that looks like that they're probably going to agree with that. So I just like that in general, but we'll see. Like you said, the Trevenant can do quite a bit.
Yes, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, looking at their items, they do have the attack weight stacks over on their side. Greedent once again double stacking with the attack weight and Eos Cookie. So I'd say we're probably going to end up seeing that Gudra go into that central area. However, one thing you did mention it at the end of the previous game, a Blaziken could have probably ended up working a bit better into the 5 defender comp instead of the Garchomp. So Eeyore picking that up, we'll have to see how well it will work into Team MYS as we head on into our second game. Team MYS on the Pebble side, what we saw before, and it looks like Torchic is actually going to take that central area this time around as well, Chef.
I really like that. I am, well, it looks like we're going to see at least somewhat of a split, but I'm a huge fan still of seeing Blaziken center area, depending on like the pressure that you're going to receive up top. And we've definitely seen the aggression from Team West is pretty huge. So you want to get up to level of the power spike. And right now, it looks like that final hit is going to go to this EV. It'll just gonna run away. Say, I got what I want. Leaving.
Yeah, this is what they didn't actually manage to do last time. Oh well, actually they did, but they weren't able to get the buff, weren't they? But Greedent being able to pick up some wild Pokemon does have 5 points on hand. Is double stacking, however, Slowbro is making sure to try and defend that. Nonetheless, they cannot stop the 7 points from going on in.
Ooh, this is, I do like the fact that this feels a little bit more aggressive from ONIC Rise this time around. They're getting a good chance to at least, get some EXP, get some aggression. They're not just getting run down early in the game, and they did have a pretty slow comp. They still actually do have a relatively slow comp. They actually have an extremely slow comp now that I'm looking at it, but they're, the way that they're playing is allowing them to just be a little bit more aggressive. Unfortunately, there we go. You see the aggression from Team MYS starting to kind of play the same thing, and we are going to see the curse, just like you thought.
Yeah, they are gonna lock that in. It'll be interesting to see whether they're actually gonna end up going for Horn Leech or Pain Split this time round as well. So maybe the Pain Split to lock on down, but even then the Horn Leech with the curse resets could provide, you know, some great crowd control and more delay for the side of Team MYS, even though they don't, you know, they have enough delay of their own, but we do have those Swabblers and Altaria spawning into that middle section. As we do have Blaziken locking on down, most of that now has reached that level 7 mark.
This is starting to get to the point where ONIC Rise is really going to be able to fight. They're not quite there yet. Still, just this poor little War Turtle. You're not defenseless, but right now this is a very scary path to go against, especially when we've got this Greedent that is willing to just steal all of your berries and do every mean thing in the book to you. Honestly, this Greedent play has been incredible, which seems appropriate considering we're on the Ghatlue channel. But on the other side, we are going to see ONIC Rise once again take a little bit more aggression down in this bottom path. They've really chosen to focus on it. You can see they're already quite stacked up. They've got 72 points in the bank.
Yeah, this is a different story from what we actually saw last round. ONIC Rise, I feel like, have a much more calm demeanor going into this this next match. Being able to keep up in levels, but also being able to keep up in these points. MYS were able to break down that tier 1 pad up at the top half, which means they're going to have a free reign to take this Regieleki, while ONIC Rise are going to be able to lock down a Registeel for themselves. So this is actually probably the best Registeel that you want to have on the side of ONIC to try and shred down these defenders.
Yeah. I mean, they probably wish they got that just before the 2-minute mark, but this is looking pretty good for them so far. I mean, at the very minimum, I would say this is looking like a lot more of a close game, and we're going to surf in, see the defenders sitting there in the tall grass, and everybody's flashing for this 620 spawn, easily, very quickly burning that down, and wow, that Hillswine has to get out of there so low, finally getting KO'd.
Yeah, the focus blast to just land that last hit. It was interesting to actually see Dragonite use their Unite move into that fight. However, they didn't actually end up going on the chase. They pivoted towards the top path, potentially looking for a dunk, but it ended up being well defended. I mean, surprise, surprise. But Greedent, once again, just getting chased on down and gonna pop that bullet seed. And Blaziken realizing, you know what, there's just no point in wasting time chasing it. They're just going to focus on the experience instead.
Yeah, going to be going back to that center area. Up top, though, we've got some aggression coming from Team MYS. They're trying to get some points into this Tier 2 gold zone. But, of course, Blastoise is going to be a great, quite literal defender, but a gold defender as well. So we're really starting to hit like a more of a standstill. We're going to see probably a KO right there. And actually, we saw the Greedent get KO'd in the center, so there is some fighting. They didn't really need to, I think, maybe extend quite that far, but MYS, they're playing the aggression from last time. Nice KO.
Ooh, that is actually a big pick onto that Blaziken being the highest level over on Team ONIC's side. However, Piloswine, they are now at that halfway mark. They haven't reached that full evolution, the level 9, and it looks like we're going to have a bit of a fight here for this Regieleki as Blastoise is going to shred on in, followed up by the Phantom Forest as well, just to try and get some knockouts, but also provide that Trevenant with some much-needed shielding. The Berry Bash coming in from the Greedent to knock up the players from ONIC Rise, as they are the ones that are actually shredding down the defenders. And you know what? Stealing away this Blastoise was actually such a good call. I feel like that was a much quicker team fight in comparison to what we saw last round.
Yes, that is exactly how they wanted it to go. And then on top of that, obviously there was nobody to steal it away, but they had the overheat to secure that Regieleki. So everything looking quite good for ONIC Rise. I just feel like this is a huge turnaround from that last game. Oh my goodness, that Dragon Knight taking quite a bit of damage trying to defend right there. Team MYS still keeping up in points, they're keeping up in everything. They just don't have that aggressive lead that they had before. We are going to see Trevenant go down. Looks like we're going to have at least one more member go down, and they got to be scared. They're starting to get to that point where we're going to hit the end game. This Reg Ice looks like it's not going to be contested. There's not a whole lot you can do. They will be contesting some of the XP in the center area, but just losing yet another objective.
Yeah, that is going to give ONIC Rise that HP regeneration, but it's a global experience. The fact that we already have a level 13 Blaziken over on their side is actually massive because they do have those plus movements. I mean, Team MYS, looking at their levels, it seems they are falling just slightly behind, not too much. The fact that we also only have a 27 difference here, but Mamoswine is able to get out of trouble with that Earthquake and also the Wish combo to just go and replenish their HP back to full.
This is a lot of damage on the slow, bro, and actually may be able to get out of there. They're going to recover quite a bit. They're actually going to get the KO in return on the Mamoswine. So I thought that Slowbro was done for, but just a good amount of healing there coming out from that Eldegoss. And we are now in a spot where ONIC Rise is the numbers advantage. They can go up top for this Regieleki. And we'll look at this. They're catching out that Gudra. It probably will be able to get away, but it's going to have to go back. It's going to have to heal. And that's going to build them even more space for, if they want, like I said, this Regieleki.
One thing as well, it did end up popping the Gudra's X speed, so they're not actually going to have that for the final stretch. However, we do have Mamoswine being able to isolate one of those members as the rest of ONIC Rise are going to try and shred down this Regieleki. Blaziken lock it on down. That is going to head towards tier 2 as we are going to pivot into the Legendaries pit where Rayquaza is about to spawn, but everybody is in the pit fighting it out already, Chef.
Rayquaza's going to spawn and be scared. Umbreon goes down immediately off the bat. Actually, Defender on the other side goes down for ONIC Rise, but now Mamoswine going down. Huge Unite coming out from the blast, so it's going to pick up all the 3 members left from Team MYS. I don't know if ONIC Rise can fully capitalize off of it, though they will. They're extremely low. They do not have the Unite as well from the Eldegoss to be able to follow it up. That's going to be the Greedent, taking a ton of damage. Going to heal back half of that from the berries, but there's going to be a flip once again. Can they get the last hit? But no! Again! They had the opportunity to overheat and they weren't charging it. It's the Greedent Knightmute Foxy, and they're going to take the second of the game of the set. I can't believe it.
I am absolutely speechless right now. ONIC had that in the palm of their hands. They came out, they won the fight. But Umbreon coming back in, still needing to deal with this Greedent. Knightmute Foxy being able to just replenish the HP, steal it with the Bullet Seed. I mean, the thing is not over for ONIC Rise just yet. It's only 217 to 270. We have Dragonite landing in from the top of the skies to go in and get in 24 points. But, oh wait, another back cap. Umbreon and Greedent ended up getting some more points. So 428 to 341. There's 35 seconds left on the clock. They need to try and get some goals in this home pad, but Team MYS are really living it up to their name with the defense.
They got a few points in, but it's just a few. 3 members down for ONIC. That's gonna be 4. That's gonna be 5. That's gonna be it. The 5 defender comp. The MYS special is gonna work 2 games straight in winners finals of one of the most stacked tournaments that I've ever seen. I cannot believe it. That berry spin is absolutely deserved. Team MYS moving to the grand finals on the winners side. I am actually genuinely speechless.
Me too. Me too. Good luck, Lobo. But there we go. Team MYS taking that second game, 428 to 347. Yang on the Umbreon receiving that MVP, but we obviously know it was Nightmare Foxy on the Greedent being able to steal away the Rayquaza and take ONIC Rise's chances at taking it to a game 3. But because there was just so much bulk on the side of Team MYS, I don't think the 90k damage from Blaziken and Dragonite is very much a surprise.
No, it's not. But oh my goodness, I really want to see once again when we get there, of course, in the analysis, what happened and why we didn't see the overheat at that point. But Lobo, hopefully you're not muted because I'm sure you have a million things to say about whatever we just watched.
I just want to point out this is my first time doing analysis of any kind for Pokemon Unite. I got into this for casting. That's not fair. That's not fair that you asked me to. No, all right. Cool. You know what?
Analysis is part of casting, Lobo.
No, it is. I'm just like, I was looking at that draft and I'm just like, I was doing a good job with it. I don't know what to say, but okay. Fine. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. Can we head to the draft screen of game 1, pretty please? First of all, I just want to. We pointed out when I did the draft with you guys. For game 1, we saw the Dragonite, we saw the Garchomp. We knew that was going to be rip potential, not only for any objectives, but just for the defender comp in general. We have seen people take Garchomp and Dragonite Outrage and just the incredible attack speed of Garchomp. We've seen them take that to MYS and just try to out-brawl them. And then they have the Glaceon as well, plus the Clefable healing. Chef, you pointed it out. They just wanted to Death Ball. And I thought for a minute that was going to work, but it didn't. And I'm just really surprised by that. Another surprise that I had here, this is a very classic comp that we see MYS running with their 5 defenders. We got the Umbreon, the Mamoswine, the Blastoise, the Greedent, and the Goodra. Greedent for me is probably the MVP on this MYS 5 defender comp because we all know how annoying the little Greedent rat is. We don't like to see it. It invades us. It spits bullets at us. We just want it to go away. And I think ONIC Rise just didn't have an answer for the Greedent this time around. Stealing farm, hitting objectives. And I have one of my points on here as well. Mamoswine right now, we are seeing it. We've seen it, I think, every series that we've had a chance to cast so far. It is such a good defender. The Ice Fang ability, and I have a few moments picked out here where Ice Fang really does a great job of peeling, and the 5 defenders are able to just jump onto that comp. But we've also seen it in such good succession with just being able to peel out these mons that require and allow teams to jump on it. So if we just go to 920, pretty please, we are going to see the Swinub. You guys did get that correct. That is the first stage evolution of the little Mamoswine that could. It's fine, but it's able to steal that blue buff, get on out. Again, we have been seeing this a lot in this Asia region. They really like to stall teams, and defenders are usually the last Pokemons to kind of get online. I think Slowbro has a stage 1 evolution that gets online the quickest when it comes to our defenders, and that is probably the quickest defender that gets online. But again, if you're going up a defender comp, they're slowly going to build and they're going to scale as we get into the late game. So getting those levels, getting those buffs, really, really strong here. Umbreon coming in, doing a fantastic job, just scaling out. We saw the Gible go down and the defenders just want to stay in their place. Now, I did have to ask Ghatlue about this because I thought we might see a Dragon Pulse moveset come out from the Goodra, because we know Dragon Pulse heals depending on how many opponents that you hit with that Dragon Pulse. But again, I'm looking at this now with the movement that ONIC Rise has on their team. Dragon Pulse is not going to hit a whole lot of the time. So I did ask Ghatlue about this, and he sent me the Unite DB because he is that guy. If the user dealer deals damage to an opposing Pokemon with this move, the user's defense and special defense are increased for 2 seconds. If Muddy Water is used again within 6 seconds, the defense bonus effect increases in intensity. So for me, that is an instant as to why Muddy Water is going to be used. Gudra is going to be in there brawling. It's going to be in there. It's going to hit the targets. Therefore, you get that special defense and defense buff, a double buff. So we talked about it earlier, Chef. Whether using a physical defense or a special defense attack move when it comes to taking on these defensive comps, MYS has thought of that with the Muddy Water moveset. Now, if we move towards, I believe, what time are we at? We saw the Umbreon peel. And then now, if we just go to 8:13, we see. I apologize. The Umbreon came on in here, and the Greedent came up. Look at the Siglu here, getting out, being chased there, but then all of the attention brought onto the Greedent. It has just allowed that Siglu to get out again with another buff. So MYS really playing a cohesive unit. But just watch the Wartortle going down here. Greedent is back on in. Look at the low HP that this Greedent just sticks around on in. It manages to not get the buff. The evolution's there, but this Greedent is here. Look at the HP it's on. It's got full berries, which means if it chucks more berries out of the stuffed chick, it's going to get a shield. So it knows the limit tested this Greedent. Full icicle spears onto the Greedent, and it is still in that zone. So incredible play. Fakes to go get the citrus berry and then makes its way on out. Really incredible play by the Greedent. And I have it in my notes here, 740, Greedent nuisance. I couldn't think of anything else to call it. So I also wanted to highlight this as well. We did see the Blastoise go the rapid spin build. Now it was rapid spin hydro pump, and that's gonna become really important later on in the game because we thought they needed damage, right? We saw Team ONIC Rise pick up the rapid spin in the previous game, and we saw the shredding ability of that. The utility of the hydro pump rapid spin build is going to come very evident when we see that Ray fight. Now, if we go into the 6:30 minute. I was very confused as to how to analyze this game because it's not a conventional game. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. We've got a Greedent in a 4v1 situation with a Dragonite here, with a Clefable healing, with everything that's doing, and it's still alive. It's still alive for about 15, 20 seconds. Any other mon is not going to be able to do that. But in this instance here, we have MYS completely in the top path. Regieleki walks in. Greedent has done its job as a complete distraction for what they have to do. And even though they lose, they don't lose their tier 1 pad here. It's left on low scoring value, but MYS has just increased their point count. So they're sitting very, very pretty here. If we just go to the 5-minute 20-minute mark here, there's a really important, here we go. And this is what I wanted to point out here. The Ice Fang pick out of the Slowbro into the slow zone. Again, Mamoswine, I believe, is a very, very underappreciated defender. And I do believe it's because of that reason, because of its high level spikes, that it's not being picked up that much. But even as a little Piloswine, we saw how effective Ice Fang can be. Now, I want to go into 440 as well. These are just my kind of little highlights. I'm trying to figure out what these teams are doing. We saw Dragon Rush and Outrage and the Icicle Spear. It wasn't doing the best job here when it came to shredding down. But ONIC Rise had moments of this. There's the Dragon Rush right into the Hydro Typhoon. And I thought that was going to be game with the Midnight Crowns coming from the Umbreon. But there is the damage of the Dragonite, the Garchomp, and the Glaceon all coming into effect as the Glaceon peeled away the Gudra and Umbreon, Garchomp popping its Unite move and just being able to do massive damage. So even though how great that that Unite move from Blastoise was to predict the Dragon Rush coming on in, it's still this is where I think MYS were trying to they had to we're at the 4-minute mark, so they had to figure out you know, the mons that we were worried about have hit their spikes. They're doing damage. So what can we do? And I think they played it very, very well. The last thing away. Yes, I put that down. I want to just go to 220 here, if you don't mind. And if you guys want to step in, say anything, please let me know. Any comments, questions, queries, anything that I've pointed out that you guys really enjoyed about this fight, please let me know. So the 220 here, the Mamoswine here, and it just gets absolutely bull rushed into this away here. 220. I wanted to point out the levels here. So if we could just hit pause for 2 seconds. So we're heading on into the Ray fight. I want to check the levels here. ONIC Rise were they were on the back foot for most of that game when Dragonite, Garchomp got their levels. 3 level 13s, 2 level 11s. Again, that's your Dragonite hitting its spike. I think that's your Glaceon hitting its spike, and that is your Garchomp hitting its spike. And on the other side, we've got 4 level 12s and a level 11. To me, I'm pretty sure like MYS are probably not panicking here because they're probably close to very hitting their levels. But I really want to point out how close these levels are heading into this game with a 198 to 245. So MYS kind of comfortable here. But now I want to go into it. It just starts here. If we just hit play, the Ray fight just starts. We get an early Ray fight. The Icicle Spears are firing on in. Mamoswine almost gets caught out here, but then there's the Stomping Tantrum, I believe. The Garchomp Unite's going to come on in. Slow Beam on to the Blastoise, but really important, the Blastoise does not get taken down here. And as we play through, we're going to come in through the Gray Secure. All of the damage is just being popped. Greedent Unite comes on in. The Glacial Stage gets set. Hydro Typhoon goes up. And now ONIC Rise take the lead here. They get the KOs. Look at this. Greedent has come down. Blastoise is still in that bush. Blastoise is still alive. And now this is the important part of the Hydro Pump Rapid Spin. There it goes. The Hydro Pump is a stun. It's a stun as soon as it's used, and I had to confirm with Ghatlue for this to make sure I was correct. But I did ask, the Hydro Pump is a stun, so it allows for that secure, and then MYS win the game. They managed to get that, so incredible comeback. They were losing that Ray fight, but I think they're just the individual abilities on that team in knowing these mons is incredible. And now as we go into game 2.
I've watched that through a second time, and I'm still just dumbfounded at what I just witnessed.
I'm waiting for game 2.
I was like, wow. I think also it was Yang on the Umbreon. The fact that the Umbreon didn't end up getting taken down, and they were at low HP, but being able to pop out those wishes, that way they could go in and enter that fight once again. I feel like if Yang ended up getting taken down there, maybe potentially Yemu wouldn't have been able to actually go in and get the steal. So it was a really smart play for them to actually back up, get the heals, and then dive in. Definitely risky, but hey, it worked out. So
It worked out for them, right? With
yeah.
with the Hydro Pump secure. But Chef, you pointed this out in you guys' break between the sets. What they were lacking was a little bit of the secure. Again, they had the damage from both teams. I have the stats here. Garchomp did 120k damage, and Dragonite did 111k damage. Glaceon not super effective that time around with 68k damage. It's able to pop that from distance, but to build up the Icicle Spheres and the Icicle Charge, I think there maybe could have been a better range attacker they could have used. A Delphox maybe, but I also remember when we watched MYS go and play this comp before, a Cinderace was picked up. A Cinderace was picked up and it did over 100k damage. It completely it was a 5 defenders versus a 5 ranged attackers comp, and I think MYS they knew what they were doing. They still made it a close game, but Cinderace in that game popped off. So I was expecting something of the same, but Chef, you also pointed out they had no secure on the side of ONIC Rise, and you mentioned the Blaziken. It came on in. I love the Clefable getting banned because it stops the possibility of the death roll, and the Trevenant getting banned here is incredible for me because there's more peeling. So now you have 3 Pokemon on this team: a Mamoswine, a Trevenant, and a Goodra. Because don't forget, Power Whip is a shove as well. So it is able to 3 Pokemon that are able to defend, as well as the Snarl from Umbreon that's able to push back as well. So this defender comp is really looking for the peel and jump, peel and whatever the other word is, peel and jump to here. So I really like this change. I like the change from ONIC Rise 2 with Rapid Spin, because now we'll see it later on in the game. It's just doing a lot of damage, and the Fire Fist from Blaziken as well as the Focus Blast, incredible secure. So I wanted to have a look at, I think we're just going to go straight down into, let's just play the start of the game because I saw we had a double invade. I want to just talk about that because, again, I think MYS, I pointed out this sport, the fun part of seeing professionals play in any sport is if you watch your Lionel Messi's, you watch your Federers, they look like they're just having fun out there. Like, it's not work for them. And for me, MYS are a team that nobody's going to come up with this comp. Nobody's gonna. They are having fun with it, and they know the limits of their Pokemon just like any other professional in any other sport is gonna do. And I absolutely love this. Eldegoss coming on in. We see the Umbreon. We see the Swinub. The double invade. There's already something that's gonna go wrong here. So I love that from MYS. They're just elevating these games as much as they can. Let's see. I want to go into the 6 minute and 20 mark. I know I'm skipping ahead. There's just so many moments to have in these games. It's really hard to break down in terms of just the play style. They're still going for objectives. They're still rotating as a team. They're still team fighting. But the way they're doing it with a 5 defender comp is so hard. I do believe it is the 6:20 minute mark. We see the Gudra. It goes into a bush. It backs up. It thinks it's got the slow road, but there we get the Dragonite coming on in here, and there is just the Dragonite unites. Swinub just unable to get out here. So I really do like the aggressiveness that ONIC Rise showed in the second game. They weren't going to take any defenders away from them. They said, you have it. Have your comp. It is on us as a team to try and see if we can answer this comp. So I do like that attitude from players. And I think the Blaziken was an absolutely inspired pick up here. I think it has such good utility, such good damage, and the secure that it's able to bring out, because we did see ONIC Rise taking a lot of secures in this game. Now, I want to just point out a really nice 450, if you don't mind. And here is where we saw the damage come through from ONIC Rise. Look at the rapid spin come through with the Phantom Forest combination. Phantom Forest didn't even do it. The curse on the Trevor, I think, was great. And I think maybe they were hoping that the Garchomp was going to come back in. Hydro Typhoon comes back in. Overheat, Dragonite, Unite move. And I think this is exactly... This team fight, I think, pictures exactly what ONIC Rise were picturing in their head when they imagined a counter to this thing. But the Greedent just scuttles away here, doesn't really want to do it. It's going to go do what it wants. But what I do like is when ONIC Rise push the pace of the game, you see MYS go, cool, you won that fight. I'm a Greedent, I'm going to go score. And then look at the bot path in the minimap right now. Trevenant's going to come on in and try and score. Dragonite tries to stop this. Umbreon's about to back up. 3 members on that pad. Look how quickly that Trevenant gets the score and breaks the pad. And Dragonite now has nowhere to go. And now MYS is just going to get out. So really great, intelligent gameplay coming from those guys there. They know their timing. They know how much people being on pad is here. But ONIC Rise, they went for the aggressive push and they get pushed back. So again, really, I can only say really good team fight sense. It was back and forth more so than in the first game. And now if we just move on in to, I think possibly 255, 255, and we can just play from here on out because I have some things on the road fight. This fight here, again, it mimics the bot path fight where ONIC Rise are just singling out anyone they can. The Blaziken is the heart of this this comp. It is being surrounded by the Slowbro. It is being surrounded by the Eldegoss. The Dragonite is just there to put on extra damage. But the Blaziken there becoming the heart and soul of that comp. Gudra gets caught out here. Look at how much damage the rapid spin is doing. Gudra just has to back on out here. Even with the muddy water defense buffs, it's still going to take a lot of damage. Now, if we pause it right here for a second, I brought this out previously. I just wanted to show you guys the levels. 3 level 12s, 2 level 11s on the side of MYS. We've got an 11, 11, 14, and 2 13s. This is 20 seconds away from Ray. This very much mirrors the Ray fight that we had going on into game 1. MYS, 3 level 12s, 2 level 11s, but the panic doesn't set in. The panic doesn't set in. That's a level 14 Blaziken. That is scary no matter who you guys are. And then I guess we just go straight from here into the Ray fight at 2 minutes, I believe. We'll go into that. And it
sort of took it early, didn't they?
Yes.
It was like, yeah, they all, this was just an absolute scramble. Like, Ray wasn't even here. It was just all popping your Unite move.
Slowbro gets caught out first. Dragonite unites in. Rapid Spin is doing the damage. The Cotton Cloud Crash is coming on in. Oh, Dragonite is doing damage to itself now because it was attacking the Trevenant. Big Hydro Typhoon coming on in. Greedent is just doing whatever it can. Again, same as the other same as the other game, Greedent is just on the side here, trying to do anything that it can do. But look, it comes on in, gets the berries. Dragonite's chasing the Greedent. It's far away, has to go back in, and there is the Greedent secure with all full berries, and there's your Greedent secure for the game. And if we just go to, I think it's about 9 seconds here, there's a really important moment of this game that I think we definitely need to highlight, especially in this match. About 9 seconds left with the match left to go. The points are raining on in. We see the defense, and there is the Greedent spin. The most
Oh my
important.
gosh.
Congratulations.
Uh,
Congratulations to MYS, and the Greedent spin is it's a thing of beauty. But guys, that is my analysis for that. Please let me know if I missed anything, or if what you guys take away from that 5 defender comp.
we actually have a request from Ghatlue to Night Mew Foxy.
Uh-huh.
Can you please be renamed to Night Greeted Foxy?
Yeah.
Especially after that incredible spin at the end. It's like so majestic.
Yep, gotta go for it. And the funny thing is, Nightmare Foxy is like really well Pokemon, but Greedent is. I mean, it is definitely the most ranged of that group of Pokemon that we just saw, but
Mm.
it's just not a Pokemon that I would expect them to be super good at. But they are. They were really killing it the entire time. I'm very, very impressed.